Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Calhouns. Father's Day is coming up in a couple of weeks, guys. Calhouns is, and girls, Calhouns is the place to take dad for a big rack of ribs or a thick, juicy steak. Or, if you prefer, give him the gift certificate from Calhouns, a gift card. They do great stuff there. Let him get what he wants when he wants. Gift cards from Calhouns, or take him out over the next couple of weeks to Calhouns. Treat him to a taste of Tennessee Calhouns. All right. Butch Jones said yesterday in Chattanooga that Tennessee's defensive line is getting healthy, and it's been a while since that was the case. Let me go ahead and put the quote up of what he told GoVols 24/7 at the Big Orange Caravan, or what he told fans there. Right now, everyone's back on track. When we start Monday, everyone will be able to do some form of workouts, which is exciting. Khalil McKenzie's back at full strength. Kendall Vickers is back at full strength. Shai Tuttle's progressing along, and Kyle Phillips. So we're going to need everyone, absolutely. All right, positive that these guys are getting healthy. That said, if you had a chart of importance / worry, and I know quarterback's important, I know the offensive line's important, where do you have the D-line right now? Even though it's getting healthy now, how big of where does that rank on your concern list for this Tennessee football team?
Near the top. And I think, look, it's nice news that the defensive line's getting healthy, but I care about whether they're healthy in September, in October, and in November. I mean, so many of these guys on the defensive line have been injury prone, and that's one reason they haven't played as much. Some of them missed half a season, some of them missed all of a season. So right now, yeah, that's good that they're getting healthy, but the key is, can they stay healthy? That's what I care about. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, I just don't see this defense. Look, it's got to be a little bit better than last year, right? Can't be worse.
Think.
But I think if the defensive line doesn't come through and play well, this defense is going to struggle this year.
Yeah, it would rank number 1 or number 2 if I'm talking about concerns. I mean, you can just put quarterback number 1 if you want to, because quarterback is so important in what you do with an offense, obviously. But you could also say, well, you trust that one of those guys will work out because of their talent and that'll take care of itself. The defensive line has a ton of potential. Those names that are mentioned there, Khalil McKenzie, Shai Tuttle, Kyle Phillips, they could all be all SEC players. They could. But can they stay healthy for an entire season, and can they all work out because you have so many players to replace? Absolutely. Butch Jones saying that they need to work out. All of them do, I would say.
It's a situation where you've recruited better at defensive line in terms of 4- and 5-star guys than almost any other position on the team, and yet here we are, this biggest area of concern because of the injuries. It just it hadn't added up yet. So.
As if you need the introduction, I forgot to introduce the next member of our panel, Mike Strange, right there. Mike, good job. Bob?
It's not a deep group anyway. I mean, even if all these guys are healthy, it's not deep. So even if they are all 100% healthy, I think it's still an area of concern, because everybody these days, they want your defensive line to be, okay, my starters are going to play 65% of the game, then I want to have some guys play 30%. You want to be able to go with a lot of depth. So even if they're all healthy, it's not a deep group. So it's going to be a concern with me one way or the other.
One thing we've debated on this show before, we've gone back and forth on which is more important, secondary or defensive line. And you did get Shaq Wiggins. He wound up, there was debate. He went down to Mississippi State, but he made it clear he was a Tennessee guy. He's on campus now as a Tennessee guy. That's a great get in terms of adding depth to your secondary. But here's the thing: you can put Deion Sanders back there and Darrelle Revis, okay, in their primes. If you give the quarterback 10 seconds to throw, they're coming open anyway at some point. So to me, that defensive line trumps secondary. You've got to get production there. I'm like you, Jimmy. If you don't get production on the defensive line this year, I don't see how you improve overall as a defense. Thoughts on and reaction to Brady Hoke so far? None of us have really seen a whole lot, obviously. There's no games been played, and practice isn't 100% open. But for the folks I've talked to over there, all positives so far. I couldn't say that about when, for example, Sal Sinceri came in. even in spring, you had people saying, well, I don't know. But most of the people at UT that I've talked to seem happy with Brady Hoke. What are you guys hearing? Same
thing. That he's had an impact. He's very good as a technician. He's a good motivator. He's a good communicator. He's also a really good recruiter, too. Take a look at that Michigan team that was so good a year ago. Most of those are Brady Hoke recruits. So I've heard nothing but good things about him. And I think he's going to do a really good job with this group. I do, provided they stay healthy. And to Bob's point about depth, a lot of your depth's going to come from unproven newcomers. That's a concern.
You've got a lot of 4s and 5s there if they can stay healthy and if they live up to potential. The problem is you haven't seen many of those guys do that yet. I mean, you got a Jonathan Kongbo. All right. A lot of people are expecting him to do big things this year. Didn't start out that way last year. Does he catch it in year 2? A lot of question marks like that. All right. When we come back, another national writer, I mentioned this earlier, there was another national writer that mentioned Butch Jones this week. He says Butch Jones is underrated. We'll see what the panel says. Come on back.